Oh, shit. Do you have a topic?
Uh, we don't have a holiday we're late for, so not really.
I know.
You like school.
Or I guess school is starting. Do you have a lot of fun school memories?
I've got enough that I think with your aid, we could probably get through an episode.
I don't got much.
And
I'm not
we'll
gonna lie.
get on some random tangent at some point.
That's
So,
for sure. I was gonna say or most of my like school things were around holidays, and I think we talked about most of them.
as long as it's still school adjacent.
I think I have some things I could talk about. We could talk
I
about
know I
mental
have
health.
plenty.
We could talk about film criticism. We could talk about finance. 75 podcast ideas and topics to explore in 2024.
Oh, hell no.
Celebrity interviews. Ooh, okay. All right. We could
Yeah, just get us a celebrity real quick.
DIY tutorials. How does that work for a podcast?
I just, I guess just watching them.
I mean, I guess like literally reading through the instructions. Psychology. I actually do like psychology, but
That would be so boring.
bro, what do you mean? Psychology is so exciting. Technology. Ooh. Product reviews. Advice. I feel like we are not the people you would ever want to ask for advice.
That's fucked up.
Oh,
Hmm.
do you think you
I think
give good advice?
I didn't say that. I just think it's fucked up.
I have some honey roasted peanuts.
Nice.
It's like my favorite snack, dude. This shit is so good.
My grandpa really likes this.
Kayleen hates when I buy them, but she left me unsupervised in a grocery store because she wanted me to come visit her.
Hmm.
And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll also just do some shopping. What do you need? And then she told me what she needed, and I went straight for the honey roasted peanuts and popcorn.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
I did also get what she wanted, but yeah, I gotta get Papa a little something. Is that what the kids say these days? Is that cool?
No, no,
Is that a cool thing to say?
no.
Refer yourself as Papa? I think I've seen
I'm
Ludwig
still
do it.
saying no. You keep asking, and I'm still telling you
I think I've
no.
seen Ludwig do it.
It's not something you should be doing. It's
Wow.
kind of like a disgrace to God.
Smug, I think my entire existence is a disgrace to God. I mean, we've been going for 13 minutes technically.
I don't think you should leave in me mindlessly playing TFT.
No, but I think I have to leave in us looking at all of the fucking. Maybe not all of it, but some of it. Anyway, welcome back to the podcast, episode 8. 8. I don't know why I'm never confident when I literally title the recording the number every time.
But what if you like mess it up one day?
I almost put 6, and I'm like, no. 6 was 2 episodes ago. That was the oh, I think that was Bad Horror Stories.
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah. I pulled up just now. That was episode 6.
Yeah, dude, I'm so good at this. It's not like we only have 9, 8 fucking episodes.
Yeah, we have so much to keep track of
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's so challenging.
Ask me again in 4 months when we have 2 more episodes out.
Ooh, getting generous there.
Yeah.
I think you mean the 2 that we've already done, the last one and this one, and then we're gonna go on another
Well,
hiatus.
no, the last one's going this one because I wanted to not be sitting here on Sunday nights editing just to get it out. So I'm
That's
like,
fair.
fuck it. I want at least one in the backlog. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Mm,
welcome.
I think we should keep living on edge.
And you are not living on edge. You show up to record and that's it. I am the one who would live on edge.
Some would call me Atlas. Some would say
You're
I
holding
hold
up
the world on my shoulders. Yeah.
Am I the world? Or am I the pedestal that you're standing on?
feel like the knee pad for my one knee that's on the ground.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
make it a little easier, but
yeah.
I
Hey,
do 99% of the work.
I fucking hate you. Welcome back, everyone. School is starting soon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Much to everyone's chagrin. I don't know.
Some love it, some hate it.
Yeah. You're planning on going back to school, right?
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. You were mostly history, no? American history?
Yeah. So at first, I was an English major, and without getting into
Ooh,
the 10-minute explanation, I decided I'd rather swap my major to something I like more
I
for my
wonder
career goals.
why.
I mean, it's not like I dislike English, but I just like history a lot more.
Yeah.
I just think it's a lot more interesting. I've always been a social studies kid.
Have you how many years have you done so far?
I do have my associate, not my associates, my something, maybe for a bachelor's. I care a lot, as you can tell.
I believe associates is 2 years.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
I said that, and then I thought that might be the one after bachelor's, but I think that's master's.
Uh, associates, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, I believe is how
I
it
think
goes.
it's, yeah.
But
Were you
uh,
ever someone who liked going to school?
I hated going to school, but it wasn't for the fact that it was school. Because I really like learning. Like, learning is such a fun thing. And, like, even if it's something you don't care about, like, it can be fun and it can be enjoyable.
Yeah.
I never did my homework. I hated it. I would
Yeah,
never
that's
do
what
it. I would always just coast basically on test grades because I would always ace my tests. I also hated like the whole social everything in high school and just school in general. Like I think
were you a
everyone
wallflower?
I guess yeah.
No clubs, no activities, no
No,
nothing.
not at all. My mom tried to push me a lot. I think the only thing I did is I did choir 1 year and then I did film class. I did 2 film classes and I loved both of those. But overall, it was like, because I didn't do my homework and stuff, I would have a lot of anxiety like going to school.
Okay.
It was a self-fulfilling prophecy of
Yeah.
I didn't want to do my homework because in my mind I didn't need it because I'd still aced all my tests, but then I
Yeah, you were
didn't do
passing.
my homework because because I didn't do it, I got anxiety and then I wouldn't want to go to school because I had all this anxiety by not doing my home. Like it was just terrible. I was a fucking mess, and if I just did my homework, I would have been a normal fucking person. But like, I liked school. School was fun, and it gave me something to do.
I only liked, obviously the classes that you do well in and that are easier, you obviously enjoy a lot more.
Yeah.
So I loved like history. History I would crush every time. English I did pretty well. English is not a hard subject. I don't know how you could not do well in an
So
English class.
no,
I'll be
here's
real.
the thing. I guess I wouldn't say I didn't do well, but I really hated it because it doesn't really have set rules, right? It
Yeah,
has a lot of rules and it has a lot of exceptions to those rules. Whereas me, someone who loved math, I really liked just the hard rules of this is how this works always. So like that's why I hated English.
I always hated math class because it would never be like you focus on one thing and just that one thing, and then you test. It's like we're combining 3 to 4 things here that are all
Yeah,
loosely tied together.
a lot of
And
topics
I would
that like
hate,
you could argue should all be together, but also have a lot of different things to them that you would have to remember.
yeah, because then I'm taking the test and I'm like, okay, is this that first thing we learned or that second thing we learned?
Well,
When did we transition to this new part of the problem?
and it fucking sucks too, because like in high school, most of my math tests, I think you also grew up in the new math system, but most of my math tests, they didn't give us a sheet that had all of the equations on it.
I had some teachers that would do that.
Yeah,
Not
no,
all of them
all of
though.
mine were just like, nah, you should just remember these. You're gonna need to remember these. You like blah blah blah, not always gonna have a calculator or a phone on you. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you on about? I have an iPhone with a calculator always on me.
I think they did not realize that they were going to put a free calculator app on the device that everyone carries for the rest of their life.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. And then that free calculator app being able to do what a fucking graphing calculator can do now.
Hmm. We had a step beyond in my time. We had a thing called photo math,
Hmm.
where if you take a picture of any math
Yep.
equation like on the planet, it would just do it for you, and
Yeah,
it would even show you
Kalian.
step by step, so you could fill out the steps, so it didn't even look like cheating. It was just like, wow, why would I ever
Yeah,
bother?
Kalian and calculus uses that because she is kind of like you. She loves English and is really good at English, but hates math.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's a science major.
No, that it is really funny that she has decided her goal in life is to be in STEM and yet cannot stand math.
That was originally I was thinking that I at first wanted to be a marine biologist, and then I realized how much math was involved, and I
Hmm.
immediately gave up. I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore.
I guess to be fair, her field doesn't have a lot of like complicated math, but like you're just required to take it because of it being a science major.
It will come up, yeah.
Yeah, so like she loved the ones I think it was trigonometry she really loved because that actually has a lot to do with geology and stuff like that. But like calculus, she wants to fucking murder everyone in this house every time she has to do, or like every time she gets an answer wrong and she has to redo it.
It fried my brain every time I tried to do math. That was truly the steam coming out of my ears moment.
Mm,
I remember, I think it was probably high school. I was a big sports kid, actually.
that's
I was really,
surprising, actually.
that's rude.
I've
Fair but
seen you,
rude.
brother.
Fair but rude.
Yeah.
Uh, I had like the lean build, but then I
Hmm.
moved, and I moved to somewhere that got cold outside, and I was like, I am no longer wanting to do sports now.
Yeah, because when sports season starts, it's basically already fall.
Yeah, I was like playing tennis in the snow, and I'm like, this sucks so bad. I have to be here for 2 hours, and it is actively snowing on me.
Yeah, I think that would. Like, I already hated sports. I was not a fan of them. There were a couple that I really liked. Cause like
Which
tennis, I
ones?
liked. I just never played it in school.
That's fair. I had a cousin who played tennis and was pretty good at it, and so I kind of tried it because of him, and I was like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
But also, the first high school I went to was way more casual about sports. Anything that wasn't football, they did like not care if you did well.
Mm,
So it was a lot more recreational for fun. No one was that competitive.
I
And the
mean,
school I
that's
moved to was like as competitive as could be. You stay on this schedule, you do exactly all of this. I'm like, this sucks.
like
I liked when I played for fun.
yeah, I understand that like a little bit of competition and like competitive spirit is good for the sport because it gets people to want to try harder.
Yeah,
But
but it was
like,
all they cared about was my
yeah,
problem.
it you got to have some balance with that because like it is just something for a bunch of high schoolers to do for fun.
Outside of sports, I was in the video game club.
We didn't
My
have
friends and
one.
I kind of made one.
Uh,
Well, it wasn't like an official. We just had a teacher who agreed to let us use their classroom after school. And we would, so what we would do is we would stack one desk on top of another one, and then a chair on that, so the switch USB cable could reach the projector. And if you touched the desk at all, the whole thing would start shaking hard.
oh God,
And so if anyone bumped it at all, it became an immediate group effort to keep it from toppling over.
bro, it's so crazy because like my little brother, um, I think he's a little bit younger than you,
Okay.
but he was a
So
part of his high school Rocket League team.
we didn't have one. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I'm just sitting here like fucking. Do you realize how stoked and like part of the school I would feel if we had a fucking like StarCraft 2 team?
My sister is a counselor at a massive, massive high school, and they have a professional League of Legends team, and they're getting scholarships now. Apparently, they're getting
Mm-hmm.
scholarships out for esports.
Esports scholarships were slowly becoming a thing when I was going to college because I remember seeing a bunch of ads for it.
I've seen that the colleges that I've been going to have like those teams now, but my high school never had anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad that it's starting to kind of break into as like an actual sport. Whether it is or isn't up for debate, but like,
Yeah, let's say can of worms.
yeah, I don't know.
I
It's a different skill set for sure, and of course, like,
I think if it's not like a physical sport, it's more like if you would consider chess a sport. It's like a mental
yeah, I
sport.
would say it's like a competition, right?
Yeah.
Like it is in no doubt competitive and oh my god, what's the word? Not tasking, taxing.
If we could come up with a term better than like e-sport, I would
Yeah,
say it would fit under that. Like a sport, but purely for the mind. I would put like that and like chess under it.
yeah, because like like I don't
It's
think
hard. It takes
anyone
skill
is
to be an
going to,
e-pro, but
yeah, is going to doubt
not.
like if chess is actually competitive and taxing and like you have to be good at it.
Yeah, you don't
But
say like,
saying
"Oh,
it's a
I'm grandmaster
sport,
at chess," and people like belittle you for that.
exactly, like people will respect that. But like if you sit there and say it's a sport, like I think it does
It
kind
comes
of,
off wrong.
yeah, it comes down to the whole like sport already has such a connotation around it. It is like physical, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
a
not to
physical.
say there aren't physical things you have to do and like keep up with to be able to be competing in an esport, but it's
If
just
we
it's
end up with like player one level VR, then I
bro.
can let you say that you are a sportsman.
Yeah. If
If
we
you're
get
playing League, but you are physically having to run on a treadmill to get down your lane to get your CS, then I'll
bro.
say you're in sports.
Oh my god, VR League. But the faster you can run, the faster your character moves.
I think it should just all be tied. There's no more like you get the abilities, but they're not hard set skills. It's like if you're playing Darius, you can like jump and then turn and then Q and do some freak shit.
Yeah, bro, even better. You're playing Darius, but you've memorized the runes to cast rise spells.
If you're playing Cho'Gath, you have to literally eat.
Unhinge your jaw.
Yeah, they give you like a whole rotisserie chicken that you have to eat every time you would ult.
Man, that's those flash ults are going to be a lot slower now.
Faker just comes out, he's 900 pounds.
Oh my god, wait, why is Faker playing Cho'Gath?
He's the GOAT. He's
He's
like, well, listen, if I can stomach 15 rotisserie chickens, this character's busted.
true though. Wait, he's cooking. Bring him out of
Because that's just
retirement.
value no one else can match.
Yeah.
Did you ever, what was like the most hype field trip you ever got in school?
Oh, jeez. Uh, well, because
Or
most
did
of
you
my
ever have
field
one that was
trips.
that great, or were they just kind of like solid
So
to okay?
there's two that always come out like stick out in my mind, um, but they were in elementary school. Cause
That's
like
fair. That's like when a lot of the best ones were,
yeah,
I feel like.
so there's one where like because my elementary school went to sixth grade and then it transitioned to junior high school. Uh,
Okay.
the last like month or so, a week during that last month of school, the entire like sixth grade class
Hmm.
goes out to like this I believe it was like a Catholic like retreat thing, but
Okay.
it really it like it
And it
wasn't
really
like
spoke to you.
no, it wasn't Catholic like when we went there. It was a building with a bunch of like bunks and beds and cabins and everything, and we just
You like dropped to your knees and cried
mhm,
as you felt
mhm.
the holy embrace.
I actually burned the minute I stepped on that site. That one was fun because it was just basically getting to go out and just hang out with a bunch of people and like have big bonfires and like drink hot chocolate and all that stuff. The other one that kind of comes to mind is we went to an old mining museum. So it basically was like there's a lot of mining towns and like ghost towns in Idaho.
Around you. Yeah, that checks out.
So there was this big museum up in this town. I can't remember which one. Honestly, I could be misremembering it as a mining museum, but I remember there being a lot of like diagrams and like scale models and equipment of a bunch of different mining rigs throughout the times.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. I fucking love museums, man.
I love them. I don't really think we had one to a museum. I
Oh,
remember
rocks too. There was a lot of rocks there.
like the Rock. That would be pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was like 16 wax statues and then one real life The Rock Johnson.
But he blends in perfectly.
Mm-hmm. He would jump scare us as we walked by.
I remember for band once we went to a Renaissance festival to like compete in some
Ooh.
competition.
That sounds awesome.
But it was we were playing like on the actual physical stage, which was cool because it was like an outdoor theater, so it was a nice stage. But it was so windy, and we didn't have anything to hold down our music sheets.
Oh no.
And so what happened is I was sharing with the person next to me, and they had to physically hold the paper down, and I did all of the playing. We couldn't both play at this cool event because it was so windy, it would instantly send the papers flying. And so I felt kind of bad for him because it's like, I get to do all of the fun playing for these cool songs at this big event, and they get to sit here and hold my paper.
You didn't trade off?
No, because it was also my paper, and I was the higher seat. So I was like, I feel bad for you, but I'm not swapping.
Yeah, I'm better than you, but like I appreciate
I also
you.
just didn't like that person, so I was not willing to. I didn't hate them enough to not feel bad, but I hated them enough to not
Okay.
give them that courtesy.
Hang on. I want to try to guess what instrument.
Okay. I feel like
Was
I
it
told you.
maybe was it a brass instrument?
Oh god, I haven't been in band in 6 years. I think so. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. Yeah.
Oh wait, didn't you play saxophone?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. That, first of all, that is well,
I googled
the
it just to make
saxophone
sure.
gets weird because it is also like a reed instrument.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't 100% sure, but
I
I
think
think
it
it
is
actually
classified as a brass.
alto sax instrument family. All. It just says, oh, it is a woodwind. Okay.
Really?
I remember hearing that now. Yeah, now that I am reading that, it's bringing back memories.
I also played an instrument in 6th grade and in 5th grade. Can you guess which ones?
Flute,
No, Kayleen played flute.
clarinet.
No,
You seem like a clarinet kid.
I did not play woodwinds. I played a brass.
Was it trumpet?
It was trumpet, yeah.
I remember trumpet was like the baby easy instrument.
Well, because I started off with trombone and I hated playing trombone, man. That shit was
All of my
pain in the
trombone
ass.
friends hated that instrument.
Bro, that shit's the worst. So I swapped to trumpet. And then in 5th grade, I played viola.
I never swapped instruments. I did 5 years straight of just alto sax.
I mean,
Would you ever actually practice outside of band? Or were you just like a there for the credit kid?
I did practice trumpet outside of band. It was weird because I didn't want to like annoy people around me
That's fair.
because I knew I sucked. And then like it's gonna sound bad. So I was just like I didn't practice viola. I think I would have liked it more if I just stuck with it because it's a fun instrument. I really like playing like those string instruments, but I just never did. And then it was cool to be in the brass section, so I was like, fuck it, we going trombone. And then I was like, fuck it, trumpet, easier.
I remember, so I never really practiced ever, like
Mhm.
outside of school. Like I would obviously play in them band and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because there were no grades that would affect that. It was just like performances and everything were 100% of your grade. Nothing else
Right.
mattered.
Yeah.
But when I moved to the different high school, they had tests where they had a computer program where you would play and it would listen to you play and then grade how well you played.
Oh,
And
fuck
instead
that.
of it would let you retry infinitely. So what I would do is I
Instead
would
of
go really early
practicing.
in the morning. My
Okay.
practice would be to repeatedly do the test until I got a passing grade. And the
I
moment I hit a C or higher, I would submit that and then stop playing immediately.
I honestly really hate that.
Oh, I did not enjoy it. I would sit there and get frustrated. I'm hitting like 67, 68, 68, 67. I'm like, bro, I'm one note off.
Yeah.
Please.
Um Oh, and then yeah, I mean like choir was fun. It was fine.
I just can't sing.
I
Choir may have helped
bro,
with that, but
I'm
I had
so
that thought.
went my entire choir career with people listening to me singing, realizing I don't know how to fucking sing after like a year after that, right?
Yeah.
Because uh in my head, singing would be not talking, right? It would not be
Yeah.
my talking voice. So it would either be lower or higher than like when I talk.
Yeah, you're doing like a different voice. You feel like you're having to do something different. I understand entirely.
Exactly. So I go through that, and I was in the tenor section because I have a wide range.
Mhm.
And while I would have been a better baritone, it just because I wasn't singing in baritone, I was singing in tenor. They just put me in tenor, and holy fuck. When I like realized if you just talk and just hit these notes in your range, singing is so much more enjoyable, man. Like it's actually just nice. And it sounds
I
so much better instead of sitting there trying to sing in a falsetto.
I've never been able to really like change my tone well, but oddly enough, I can do like a handful of really good like impersonations. Like I can't really hold a
Yeah.
low or a high note, but for some reason I have like a killer shaggy, and it's like I don't know what's up in my brain that causes that to happen, but this is how it is.
Well, I mean, holding a note is really hard.
I don't doubt it.
Like, if you're trying to sit there and hold like a consistent note, you have to be able to maintain a constant like flow of air, vocal position, all this other stuff. Whereas like when you're doing an impersonation, it's constantly changing and moving, and you're kind of like pushing and pulling at different points.
Oh, I just remembered. I have a pretty miserable story here.
Ooh, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
So, at my original high school I went to, marching band was mandatory because it just didn't have enough students to make it optional. So I
Interesting.
had to
Okay.
go, and I had already ditched three, so I had a 70, so I could no longer ditch any. Because if you missed
Oh,
one, it was a full letter grade.
okay.
And I still didn't care enough that I was like, I'll just go down to the sea. I just won't fail ever again at anything. And so we went to one, and it was my dad's turn. My parents were separated, so I would swap weekends. And so I was like, "Hey, Dad, we just finished playing. It's like 9 p.m. It's an hour drive back to the school. Like, I should be there around 10 for you or my stepmom to pick me up. Just a heads up." And it was about 30 to 40 minutes drive from their house to the school. So my stepmom was like, "Okay, I'll just go now and wait a little bit till you get there, and then I'll pick you up then," which makes sense. It's fair.
Yeah.
So we are all loading back on the buses to go home, and we can't find a student.
Oh no.
We are like, they're not on my bus, but they're on one of the buses, and they can't find them anywhere. And so they're checking every bus. They're looking all because you can't leave a student behind.
Right.
They always say they will. They will always say like, "Hey, if you're not on the bus and we're 10, 20 minutes late, we will leave you here." That is a complete lie, by the way. And so that 9 turns to 10. It's been a full hour. We are just sitting on the bus waiting. My stepmom is actively texting me like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm just waiting on you." And I'm like, "Hey, we haven't moved. I don't know what you want me to say here." And
Oh
I
my
think
god.
it must have been another 10, 15 minutes go by of this like awkward, like, I'm apologizing, but I can't do anything about this.
Yeah, like
And
it's not your fault, but you feel bad.
yeah, it's like I could not have seen this coming, but you're obviously gonna feel terrible because you're a normal human. I'm like, I'm so sorry. They're like, would it be easier if I drove over there to pick you up? I'm like, I don't know.
No, because they can't
Maybe
let you
you
do that.
would. Look, you could. If your parent was there to sign you out, you could get picked up and driven away. But the issue is, if they find this girl within the hour, they're gonna leave.
Yeah.
And so if they took off to come and pick me up, got 30 minutes there, and then we start leaving, they have to turn back around. And so I'm like, that's just a gamble that I don't want to risk. And they finally find the girl, and it turns out she was in the very back of her bus and had instantly fallen asleep, curled up in the corner.
Oh my god.
So she had been on the bus the entire time, but was like curled up in complete darkness, so she was not visible at all. And had held up everyone by like an hour and a half.
Bro, this is why I didn't do anything. That sounds like ass.
Yep. And by the time we got back, it was like midnight, and so by the time I got home, it was like 1 in the morning.
Oh my god.
And I think I had school the next day.
Oh,
I think I did have to go to school.
trying to think of I remember
Oh,
did you
hold up,
ever
let me one more quick thing, because I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
now. I did have to go to school because they did an announcement where it was if you have a band student in any of your classes, just let them. If they fall asleep, just let them.
Yeah, cuz you
It like it was an announcement for teachers, like, hey, the band kids got in really late last night. If any of them actually showed up and they pass out, just let it go. Let it.
Did you stay home that? So you didn't even stay
So I
home?
went. I
Oh
went
my
because I heard
god.
this announcement. Because I'm like in first period. I'm like I slept maybe 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, well, cuz you also have to wake up early to get to the fucking
Yeah,
school.
I live far away. I have to get up stupid early to make it here. So I was dead exhausted. And I'm like, oh, I just want to go to sleep. And then the moment I heard that announcement, I like locked eyes with my teacher and I just put my head down.
I can picture it now.
The moment I realized I got the excuse. So like it's funny if it's one thing if you're asleep before the announcement. It's
Yeah.
way funnier is after you hear that you can.
Locking eyes and then just going to sleep.
That was a miserable day. I had such a headache.
I was gonna ask, did you ever have any like cringe phases you went through in high school?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, because I was a band kid who just moved. I was the kid who kept making the communist joke. I'll say it.
I'm.
I'll.
Is it a normal thing? I'm confused.
I feel like it was a pretty common thing. I got out of it pretty quickly. I only did it for a month or two. But it's kind of like once you really start to learn about like communism and you kind of get to that part of the internet where that joke really resonates. There's always that one kid that does it, and that was me.
Can you
And then
can you give me an example of what you mean by the communism joke?
you literally just be like, "Yeah, I'm just a communist," and you
That's
just
it.
you just play the theme song all the time. That's all you
Oh,
do. To
okay. Yeah, no, I know that kid. You're right. Yeah.
be fair, I was less so playing the theme song, and I more so just ran the bit.
Yeah,
Where
you're just
people
like,
would be
I'm a
like,
communist.
they'd be like, "Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?" I'd go like, "Well, that's a champion of the people who believes everyone should have everything."
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
So I just spent like the half of freshman year acting as if I was a devout believer in the communism.
Okay.
Outside of that, not really. What about you?
Oh god.
That's not a good
So
start.
no, it's not. 8th grade, I moved. So it
It's
would have
even
been
worse.
freshman year. Uh, I started school in a different, city. I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna reinvent myself. I'm gonna be cooler.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So my idea was my brother at the time was really into country music.
Oh
And
no.
therefore, I was exposed to a lot of country music
Mm-hmm.
and started to really enjoy it and was like, this is kind of cool. You know, I'll
Uh-huh.
just pick up a pair of boots. I'll
Oh,
get a belt. Even worse, my brother decided, hey, let's go get your name embossed on the back of that belt.
no.
And so I had an entire country phase. I want to say my like freshman year of high school in a new fucking school. So there was that. And then sophomore year, I did a hard pivot. And I went to American Eagle and bought a bunch of like the best way I can describe it was just a bunch of prep clothes, man. Like
Mhm.
just the preppiest. And like I cut my hair and I like did like a faux hawk, and then halfway through, I don't even think I made it halfway through. Maybe like a quarter of the way through that year, I just said, fuck it, this isn't me. This sucks. I'm going full just what I am, which was like pop punk at the time. I really liked it. So I just started dressing in all black and all that shit. People were like, what the fuck?
What is all of this country prep
Well, the
kid?
I even took a bunch of agricultural classes, which those were fun. I loved taking those classes because it was small gas engines, and then like livestock and agricultural
Yeah.
farming and all that stuff. And those were actually really fun because I got to learn a lot. I was a part of the agricultural club. I don't remember what it's called. Like it's a big organization.
I
Uh,
couldn't tell you.
FFA, Future Farmers of America, I think is what it was called.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was actually going to go to a dairy cow judging thing, but our bus never showed up. So, like, the exact opposite of what you had, we went to the spot where the bus was supposed to pick us up. There was like 6 of us there. We were all really excited. There was a really cute girl. So, like, we were just kind of like talking, hanging out. And then our
Mhm.
teacher, like, gets a phone call and he comes back and he's like, all right, guys, if you want to go back to school, you can, but the bus ain't showing up. You guys can just go home. I was like,
Oh,
fuck it.
oh yeah.
So I just went home. Uh, but yeah, it was bad. Those were some bad phases. I never want to remember that fucking freshman year. It was so bad. Bro,
That sounds rough.
I had boots. I had a name with or a belt with my name on the back.
I do remember fresh after moving, I played more into my southern side. I don't
Mm,
think I would call it a phase because it didn't last that long, only like a
yeah.
week or two. I definitely remember playing more into it, but I did own boots and a belt and a cowboy hat and everything, but I didn't
Mm.
bring any of it. Thank God.
Bro, and it was so funny too. I'd always be made fun of in the halls, and I just didn't give a shit. I remember walking by a couple sitting down next to lockers, and I like walked by, and the dude points at me, and like I see it out of the corner of my eye. He's like, "What if I dress like that dude?" And then I see her start giggling. I'm like, "Fucking brother, you dress like a fucking pig anyway. What the fuck you on?"
I
No, and then the fucking worst part is everyone who made fun of me, uh, once we got to junior year, they were all wearing fucking cowboy boots. They were all wearing fucking the exact same shit I was wearing. The worst part, they were wearing fucking cowboy boots and fucking gym shorts. That looks like fucking shit.
Nah, that's awesome. That's actually
No,
huge.
it looks like shit. I hate
Nah,
that is the worst.
I
If you're wearing fucking basketball shorts and boots to the point where you can see your fucking kneecaps and
no,
then you see the
I
fucking top of the boots, nah, dude.
I completely understand. Sometimes you need the boots, but it's hot out. I've been there.
It was in the winter.
I,
It was in the winter, Smug.
I've been there. No, I would. To be fair, it was Texas winter, so it's probably different. But I would
Bro,
wear that
winters
kind of
here get to
outfit.
30 degrees. We get to below 30.
I've done that here too.
Right, but you didn't wear boots.
That's fair. I would wear the sneakers.
Yeah, why not just wear sneakers? Like, I don't care that you own boots, but like, understand fashion a little bit.
Well, I just operated under the policy of if I would rather just be cold from like the sidewalk to the school door and be warm inside of my shorts all day.
Yeah.
than be like warm from the sidewalk to the front door of school and then be hot inside all day.
Yeah. I mean,
So
you
I
could
was
also
always the
just.
freak who would show up in like a t-shirt and shorts.
Well, even that, like, I don't really care. I see it all the time here. People, you kind of get used to it to an extent. Like, you are able to kind of be in gym shorts and walk around outside for like 10, 15 minutes and then go inside somewhere. Like, I get that. But, like, fuck, man, just don't wear the boots. Just don't wear the boots.
I don't really think I ever cared about fashion. I think that there was a little bit in like middle school where my mom really pushed for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like she showed me all of these nice pictures. It's like, oh, don't you think it'd be great to like go to school in like this outfit? And I'm like, I mean, I guess. And so for a while, I did that thing where it was like the nice shorts and like a Hawaiian shirt over another nice shirt, stuff
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that. Like it was like that nicer than I guess a basic t-shirt and shorts. But then after a while, I'm like, I just don't want to put in the extra effort.
I I was never a big like outfit. Like I don't buy an outfit. But
Yeah.
I like buying nice clothes that like I can mix and match and like not care. But like
Mm.
I know so many people who like buy an outfit and I don't understand.
I mean, I understand outfit people, like this set thing that you know looks good together. I just don't care enough. I will throw on the first t-shirt and the first pair of shorts I can pull out,
I
and I
think
just call that the fit.
I'm kind of saved because I enjoy wearing like sweatshirts. So like my shirt, it doesn't matter. Plus I can always layer a sweatshirt with a fucking like I got a jean shirt, like a jean jacket shirt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got a couple of
Mhm.
those. Those always look good over a sweatshirt.
I'm a zipper jacket believer.
I hate zipper jackets. Oh my god. I hate
I
them.
love
Bro,
being able to just unzip and get significantly cooler if I get too
no,
warm.
that's fine. I understand it, but when it's zipped up and you sit down and it fucking bubbles up and like bulges up, I hate that. That fucking drives me insane. And I
Just
know
pop it.
you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
but and then you just pop it.
I don't want to do that every time I sit down.
Oh my god, whiny baby.
Bro, I just hate it. It's not for me.
Uh, so back on school.
That was school. That was fashion school.
It was vaguely tied, but back to hard school.
Okay.
So at my original Texas high school, it rained pretty much like every other day. It would rain all the time. And so the tennis team, instead of going out and playing in the rain, would just stay in one of the coach's classrooms and we would play ping pong.
Ooh. Okay.
But we didn't have a ping pong table. A
Yeah.
student bought one of those kits where it's like the net and two paddles and some balls, and we push desks in together.
Oh.
But the desks are always uneven, of course. And
Yeah.
ours had these little like outlet bricks that would stick up out of the desk, so you like plug in a Chromebook or whatever. And so there's four little
Fucking
blocks
bougie
that
ass
all
school.
stand up and hit it and would launch it in some random direction. Or if you hit a crack, it would shoot in some weird way. And it's all we cared about. Like every day we'd be like, I kind of hope it rains today. I kind of want to just go back and play more ping pong. Not really wanting to play tennis right now. Kind of want to just play ping pong. And I had my tennis coach was also my science teacher. And so I would see him like for 3 to 4 hours every day.
Yeah.
And so I knew him very well. We would talk about COD. He was a COD guy.
Was he younger?
No, he was just a COD adult.
Really? Okay.
He was a COD adult who liked it more than his kids. And so I remember it must have been like, when did Black Ops 3 come out?
I can look it up.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up real quick.
Black
Maybe
Ops
it
3.
was
That was like 2012, wasn't it? 2015.
that's 2015. So it must have been Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4. 2018? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, this is when I stopped playing.
Yeah, I remember this came out, and then he was bragging about how he got the gold gun skins faster than his kids by giving them chores.
Bro, that's so base.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, one of my sons was catching up a little too quick on the shotgun golden skins. I
Oh.
made him mow the yard.
Dude, I
Like
love
they were
that.
playing on separate Xboxes and separate rooms, but he was keeping track of his son's progress. And if they would
Dude,
get a little too close, he would go and make them do something.
I
And they knew,
swear.
and he was like, "Yeah, my kids hate me, and they get really mad when I do it, but I need to have it before they do."
I don't know what it is, but there's only ever been one science teacher who was like annoying and a prick.
Hmm.
Every other science teacher I've had, fucking chillest, most cool dude I've ever met and talked to.
They were just not that many memorable science teachers that I had. They were all kind of bland.
I was in an engineering class, and I'm sure I've told you this story. I might have even already talked about it, but the whole final, we had to go through and we learned a lot about like making things like maglevs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, we would do those like CO2 cars where we had to
Hmm.
take a block of wood, uh, sand it down and do all that stuff and learn about drag and everything and make the fastest one. I ended up winning because mine broke. So like I had it too long and too thin at the front. So the
Yeah.
first race I did, I barely won. And this was like one round elimination.
Yep.
So it hit the edge of the stop, like it hit the stopping point, and the front like half broke off. And so I was like, fuck. Do I have time? He's like, if you can fix this before your next race, you're good. And I'm like, I got this. So I fucking go into the back and I'm like fucking sprinting around trying to repair my goddamn thing. And I
Yeah.
end up just saying, fuck it, threw away the front half and just drilled 2 new holes and put the wheels on and came back. I won the entire event because of that.
I remember we had that. It's like the second project we had after I moved. So the funny enough, the first project they were doing when I got there to the new high school, they were like almost done by the time I showed up. So I'm here, I have no idea what's going on, and they're like, yeah, there's 3 days left to finish this massive project worth a ton of your grade.
And you're
And
still expected to do it?
so that's where I'm getting to. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't have time to catch up on any of this. I don't even know what any of this is because it's the end of the subject. Like she's not going over any of this anymore.
Yeah.
So I go to the science teacher and I'm like, hey, what should we do about this? Because there's no way in your right mind you just like fail me on this, right? And obviously she's like, yeah, no, that wouldn't be fair or logical. And so she basically does the project for me.
Huh.
What she did
Okay.
is she sat beside me and would like go over the question with me and then explain in detail how I should do it.
Bro, that's actually kind of cool.
And she did that for the entire project for me. So she was like, okay, so we get to this question and this is how you do it in detail. And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, elaborate on that. What would you like to see me answer here? What answer would really stand out to you and be like, this is 100? And so I think I showed up and I aced the first project because she did it.
Bro, I
And the
know.
second one was like a derby car like that.
Yeah.
And it had to be super light. It had to be like out of paper. And it had to shield an egg that would go down an 8-foot ramp into a brick.
Ooh, okay.
And it couldn't be like longer than a foot or weigh more than like a few ounces. I was just like, bro, I'm not an engineer, but you know what I do know of? The crumple zone.
Ooh, okay. I like this.
I'm like, I've heard of this term before. And so what I did was I dedicated 10 inches to the foot max you were allowed to just folding paper at zigzag.
Oh, okay. That's actually
And then
really
I made a
smart.
seat belt for the egg and I just put it in at the very back. And I did zero weight distribution, zero schematics. I took up to like the day to finish because I just kept making random cars, testing it, it would fail. I would rerun it. Because she had a thing where you could test it as many times as you wanted. But once you thought you were ready, that was your one and done.
Yeah.
So you had to be certain. And so I kept testing different designs to try and get as much crumple zone as possible.
That's so funny.
And eventually, once I was ready to test it and I dropped it down the ramp, it just hit the brick and then crumpled like 8 inches. And it went from like a foot long to like 3 to 4.
Did the egg survive?
The egg was completely fine.
Bro, see, I mean, like, that's the cool thing too about like engineering. I think more kids need to take an engineering class because it's so much fun.
Bro, I loved that project so
I
much.
remember, oh my god, I was such a nerd in this class, dude. The other final, like the final was you had to build a robot in this kind of like BattleBot simulation game.
Yep.
Do you want to know what I did?
What would that be?
I looked up the name of the game and I torrented it so I could play it at home and it
Yeah.
completely refined because everyone else was waiting until they got to the class. I'm taking one step ahead. I refined my design like 6 times because the whole goal was you had to beat the teacher's robot design, which was disgusting. It was broken as hell.
Hmm.
And it's a 1v1 fight. Like you have all your controls, you're doing all this stuff. I just barely managed to eke out like a technical victory because I somehow managed to knock off both of their wheels while I still had one and I could still move. So the whole fact that I could move is the only reason I won, but I was the only one to even come that close. Everyone else just got destroyed by what he had, essentially a fucking block with just spike pistons on the front. It was so funny.
I remember same class. Our final project was we had to make a Goldberg machine. The Rube Goldberg. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these.
The where like one thing happens and it sets off like 30 other things.
Yeah, it's like a very overcomplicated machine to do something very simple. And we had to physically make one. It had to do something very simple, but go through like, I think 5 different tasks. And so I, because I just don't have that engineer's brain. I don't have a
Yeah.
way to build this at like a small, reasonable size. And I didn't like think to look online or build guides. So I just kind of slammed things together in a garage for like 2 months. And I built this like as tall as I was. So it was like 6 feet tall. It was out of like planks of wood. So I think it weighed easily 30 to 40 pounds. And all it did was drop a button. And the reason it was so tall was so it could do the amount of tasks, because I couldn't think of a way to condense it. So instead
Okay.
of going smaller, I was like, I'm just gonna make it huge so I can fit that many tasks in it. To drop a button on a button. To drop a ball on a button, I mean. And that, yeah.
Oh, dude, I
That,
just
but it was a massive singular frame made of like 2x4s.
yeah, so it was like this. It was just really
Yeah.
tall.
Really tall, really heavy. And I think she scammed me because she counted 2 of my actions as like one together action. And I was like,
Uh
okay,
I
so
think you might have
cringe.
just done a one together action. I'm not gonna lie.
It was very clearly 2 different actions because he's like, well, this thing goes into this thing and that makes it one action. I'm like, you just stated 2 different things. You clearly know this is 2 separate things and you're just trying to scam me because I gave you a massive giga project.
You also had her do your entire first project. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that was on her.
Um
I had an English teacher, so I would get beef with teachers all the time.
okay.
I would butt heads. And I had an English teacher who gave me like a D on a project that I didn't know existed, and she didn't explain to me.
Okay.
So again, post move, everyone's in the middle of a project. So my English class is halfway through the original Romeo and Juliet.
Ooh, okay.
And she was like, oh, just catch up. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen.
No, no
And
way in
so
hell.
I did zero reading and just would kind of wing it. And I was winging it enough that I was doing fine. And she was having students walk up and like read from the book and like play out scenes. But everyone already had their established characters. I showed up too late, obviously. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I just don't have to do anything. And then at one point, after everyone had finished their reading, she's like, okay, and now you're going to play a scene solo. So everyone has to do it. And I'm like, you didn't tell me about this ever.
Wait, a whole scene solo?
Yeah, I had to do it with characters that like no one else is actually playing because it's not fair to make anyone do it twice. So I had to play out a Romeo and Juliet scene alone with like the wall, and then she kept finding me on things I didn't know I had to do. Like no one ever told me I had to look at the crowd. No one said I shouldn't look at the book for the words. I'm like, I didn't realize I had to do this like proper theater. No one told me I got like a D.
Huh.
No one, and the only reason I had to do it was a kid reminded her.
Oh, that
So
fucking snitch.
yeah, I went from talking to him and hanging out with him to never speaking to him again after
Bro,
that.
that mother. Yeah, no, no.
Because he literally like put his hand up like, "Hey, I think you forgot to get Smug here," and it's like pointing to me, and I just turned to him, and I think he saw any likability he had in my eyes die.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of Romeo and Juliet, did you ever watch Warm Bodies?
That doesn't sound like something we did in school.
It came out when I was in school.
2013, I was 10, so
Come on. You didn't watch
yeah, 10-year-old
this?
Smug didn't want to watch a zombie rom-com. You know what 10-year-old Smug did watch though?
Yeah.
What's that movie with Will Ferrell and he's like a weather reporter? It's like rated R.
Anchorman?
Anchorman. I saw Anchorman 2
Oh, you watched
at like 10.
Anchorman 2 at 10?
So my stepdad was visiting and to do like a cool thing with me, picked me up from school and I was like, hey, we're gonna go see a movie. To be fair, Anchorman 2 is rated PG-13.
Is it
I
really?
don't know what. Yeah, you can check. It's PG-13.
There's no way. There's no way it's PG-13.
I'm almost certain it's PG-13.
Anchorman
I'm
2
almost absolutely
rating.
positive.
What the fuck? What the fuck is the rating called? What is the rating system
Yeah, PG-13. I found it on IMDb.
on IMDb? Hang on.
I'm looking at it right now. You just Control F PG-13.
Control F PG. Oh. Moderate
serious number.
profanity, alcohol and drug smoking, violence and
Yeah.
gore, sex and nudity.
Yeah, there's a part where they're like having in detail makeout and they just like show a woman's ass.
Brief sex scene that lasts around 30 seconds.
Yeah, they do it uncomfortably long intentionally for like the joke. But I literally got picked up from like elementary school to go see this movie. And
Wow.
to be fair, I was like, man, this movie's awesome.
A lady grabs a man by the testicles and throws him onto a thin glass window.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm now realizing I've never seen Anchorman 2.
It's a pretty good movie. I was a big fan. What can I say?
Huh. All right. Okay.
I forgot Paul Rudd was in this.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the Ant-Man actor from Marvel. And that's all I know him from.
He was also in Clueless, apparently.
I don't even know what that is.
1995 movie.
What do you think he did in
You
school?
weren't even born yet. Oh my god.
You're old as balls, bro.
Oh, I remember the 40-year-old virgin.
Wait, no, we're coming up on time here. We got to get one more school story.
Okay, one more school story.
What's like? Oh wait, you know what we could do? Cafeteria foods. What was like? Were you a school lunch kid or did you bring a lunch?
So images, cafeteria foods. Oh, that actually reminds me of a fun story in
Oh,
junior high. What?
some of these lunches look way better than anything I got.
No, for sure. All of mine look like shit. So most of the time I was a I think cold lunch kid.
Mhm.
I just always brought a lunchbox and I had a sandwich, some chips and stuff just because it was better. But sometimes they'd have like pizza or something at school, so I would, have the pizza even though it wasn't good pizza. It was still pizza. I
Wait,
remember
are you talking shit on the rectangle pizza right now?
it was like this. It was like a whole slice.
Okay. I'll make
But
it violent.
no, the square rectangle pizzas, those went hard. In junior high, I remember I went to go get food and like my lunch card declined basically,
Ooh, I hated when that happened.
but they took away my food.
I'm
It
pretty
was
sure they're supposed to give you like a base, like it's supposed to be like one entree and a veggie or something.
Yeah, no. They took away my food and I'm like, "Oh, so I just don't get to eat?" And like, "Nope, you don't have any money on your card, so it declined." And so I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Okay." So like I went home and I was like, "Hey mom, can you put some more money on my like lunch card because they took away my food and I didn't get to eat lunch." And she was like, "They fucking what?"
Yeah, that's
She
kind of
went
nuts.
full mom mode and like called the school board, called everybody, and was like, "What the fuck are you thinking taking away food from my kid?" Like, yeah, I understand. I need like it there wasn't money on it, but I also wasn't notified that there wasn't money on it cuz we weren't like poor. Like
Yeah,
we easily could have paid for it, but I was just like I've never seen her so pissed off.
I would forget all the time to tell my mom, and so I would run out, and they would just like, "Oh, you can't have anything extra. You get like one milk, like a side, and then like the main dish, and that's it." I've never
Yeah.
had them just take everything from me.
Bro,
That's crazy.
they just grabbed my plate and I was like, "Oh, uh, okay." I just went and sat down and didn't eat lunch that day.
I remember I would. So, were you like a run to lunch kid? Would you?
No, I took my time.
I was always a sprinter, and the reason why is because the first milks that were in there were like right by the cold air vent, and so they would get a little frosted, and so it was almost like a milkshake if
Yeah,
you could get one of those. But there's literally only like 10 of them.
yeah.
Only the 10 closest
Mhm.
ones would get to that slushy status. And so it was a dead sprint so I could get two of them.
Oh, but and then in high school, I'd always buy from the vending machine.
The high school I went to later had a vending machine, but only for drinks. They didn't do snacks.
Yeah, it was drinks, and then you could buy like a bag of chips or something.
So I was sad when my high school in Texas had 5 different cafeteria lines, and they all did different menus.
Bro,
So there
what?
was one that always did like Italian foods, which by high school standards it would be like pizza or like spaghetti or something. But still, it was like pasta or pizza.
Or like
There
a
was a
shitty lasagna.
Yeah, it was always something vaguely tied to Italy. There was one for like burgers and like
Mm.
sloppy joes, stuff like that. There
Ooh,
was a
hang on.
dessert line.
Wait, no, continue. What?
Yeah, there was a dessert line that had like the little ice cream cups and like frozen sandwiches, and it would open like 5 minutes later than all the other ones, so you had to get real food. And there was like a few more I can't remember, but they had 5 lines, and it all had different menus, so you could get whatever you wanted at any day.
So I just wanted to say the
Mhm.
fucking cafeteria burgers, these shitty fucking burgers, I don't know what it was. They went hard.
I think it's just because you're starving.
Probably, but like they went hard. Except for this
Bro,
one that apparently has not good things on it.
did you ever? So, how did your schools do like the lunch? Did they do like everyone at once or like in different groups?
Um so in elementary school it was by grade
Okay,
because
that's what
it was a
mine did, I think.
big elementary, a little big quote unquote, but there were a lot of classes in each grade, so like it was just by grade. Each one would
Yep.
go a little bit later. Then junior high, I believe it was everybody at once,
hmm
and then obviously high school everybody at once.
My high school did it in groups of like 3 separate groups. It was like Group A, Group B, Group C,
Oh, weird. Okay.
and everyone would get 30 minutes to eat. So, if you're Group C, you had to wait an hour longer than Group A. And I was a growing hungry boy. And the one year I got Group C, I got so depressed I cried.
Was it just randomly? Like,
Yeah, it was randomly assigned. So I
okay.
ended up going to the principal's office. And I was like, hey, I cannot survive as a Group C student. I need to go up. I need to be bumped. I don't care what I have to do to make it happen. We need to make this happen. Make it snappy. So I was like freaking out. And I think the only reason that I was able to make it work and I got swapped to I think Group B was because I was a like attendance office aide, and so some of the people at the office liked me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
And so I was able to use corruption and politics to
Mhm.
get a better position in life.
This is where you started.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you learned that corruption is actually good.
No, I knew that way earlier.
I guess that's fair. You were a history major.
I've been knowing that. Well, my elementary school vice principal, I knew her like outside of school. Like she was a family
really?
friend.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I always got I got the works.
All right. I think that brings us to time.
Mm-hmm. Next episode will be just school cafeteria. I could do this for an hour.
Can you?
Probably, honestly. I told you
You
I'm a
know what?
foodie.
To be fair, I did ask you, do you have a topic? And you're like, well, we could talk about school and then just, go off topic like we always do.
Yeah. And we did that. We did like half school, half nonsense.
Half school, half engineering classes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
And next one will be half school cafeteria food. Half, I don't know.
yeah. Who
Politics.
knows? Politics? No, I'm not good at politics.
What if we do half school food, half guest star?
Do you have an idea for someone to guest star?
No, but I just think we'll talk with them, and then whenever we pivot back to school food, we'll mute them
Ooh, okay. All right.
and make them sit there, and then unmute them when we
Just
want
talk
their
over
input
them.
again. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, thanks for coming by. I'm Lil Angst. You can find me on YouTube. That's Smug. You can find him here. And we'll see you in the next one.
He thinks there's going to be a next one.
I do. I do think I hope there's a next one, but I guess we'll see.
He's never learns.
All right. Bye.
Bye.